Okay, video 4. 5:24 in the evening for Sunday, the 30th of June, 2024. To a lot of people, including Reverend and Trevors, what I'm owning is on a general public at this point, because some of the stuff I've been through is a nightmare in itself, and I've been educating a friend of mine about how the homeless are being treated in different areas that I am familiar with and other areas I am not familiar with, and how the system worked, at least up here in Antelope Valley when I was utilizing it, the different places I would go to, and places I grew up around. One of them were on, a couple of videos are going to be putting on public just to get people up to speed on this stuff. Because this is important information for me to reiterate off of my own memories. Because I know the system's already changed a great deal. Probably the bureaucracy and probably the handling of paperwork. But it's still a nightmare on Elm Street on this one here. So, forgive me. We were in John C., Roseman, California. So we got this one tagged up. So I'll talk back at you, Reverend. Okay, so I'm looking at the map back at the San Fernando Valley this time, Reverend. San Fernando Valley, California. I'm looking at the satellite detail of everything else that I grew up with in about 38 years of my life. I've got a sick to my stomach on this one here, too. I could look at the earlier map when I was a lot younger and feel home. Now I don't. I feel like it's an alien blob I'm looking at here. But I digress. For the Medi-Cal and the low income, they would have to go to specific hospitals over here to get covered, especially if they're county run. If they're private run, you'd be stuck with the bills. And there's no way around it. One of the hospitals is a very busy one when it comes down for county care, as much as I remember it as much. Out in Sylmar. You know, there was a derogative term used a long time ago in the San Fernando Valley about Sylmar's name. Yeah. These days you don't need to know it anyway. All of you, Medical Center, all aboard. Go to your Google Maps, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Including you, Reverend Trevors. I know, groan, please. What if I were you? To the Google Maps search engine, type in Olive View, and you see the selections, what we have. Type the first one. Click on it. The Google Maps will shove you right in that area here. Welcome to County Facility. Background on this one here. It's a nightmare on Elm Street. They've got their own bureaucratic mess to go through, their own identification system. It takes some time to go through the paperwork before you get medical services, especially if you're coming in walking ambulatory. If you're in an ambulance, different story altogether. But they do take the ambulatory because the Air County facility will deal with anybody and everyone's insurance over there. I don't know, maybe Kaiser on an emergency basis, unless they stabilize your ass and put you over to a Kaiser facility on that one. But anywhere else, if it's the closest available one, good luck. I don't know if they are, but they're a part of the UCLA medical complex. UCLA. But believe me or not, UCLA is still comparable. It's still a good system to be in to a point. But I haven't heard too many horror stories just yet, and I'd love to hear from you folks out there. But this is a facility that had to rebuild itself over the past, how many years? Since 71? 1971, Sylmar earthquake. When would that happen, boys and girls? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay, Sylmar quake. 1971, boys and girls. Where were you, you young crutch? Let's see. It was February 9th. Too darn early in the morning when we had a 6.5 or 6 or something like that. There's a shaker in that one, boys and girls. Believe me, it terrifies a 5-year-old kid real bad. Let's clean this 5-year-old kid. Yeah. It's terrified of this thing. I remember the damn thing. I remembered it. Do a Wikipedia search and you'll get some information about the San Fernando earthquake. They called it a 1971 San Fernando earthquake. But it was still in the Sylmar area. And they tore apart the Olive View Medical Center. There were several buildings that got collapsed on that one. They had to rebuild the entire area. They were worried about the Van Orman Dam busting. They were worried about the water going through the San Fernando Valley at the time. They had kept an eye on it because it was full during that time. It did have water. And they were hoping that the dam would hold from all that shaking and energy being used. I couldn't tell you, but man, it was just... That thing scared the living crap out of me. I'm going to show you something, boys and girls. Can I show you something? To your Google Maps, please. I'm going to show you a territory where I used to be in. I can hear the groanings back there, even from a certain reverend from a certain coastline. Yeah, I'm taking you through my own little pile of joy. I'm going over to North Hollywood. I'm going to a street called Van Owen and Ethel. You're going to have a hard time unless you don't know the valley. And believe me, it's been a long time since I've been through the valley. And it still scares the living crap out of me. I'm still shaken to this day. Memories have a way of haunting a person left and right on this one. So it's close to the 170 freeway, right? I'm looking for the street called Van Owen. So I'm using the 170 as a guidepost, okay? And in this section over here, I noticed if you happen to go to certain areas over here that the things will pop up. Use it as landmarks. If you know the area, fine. But if you don't, well, then you don't. But I'm looking for Van Owen. Okay? I'm also going to be looking for Coldwater. I'm also looking for Fulton. And I'm having problems breathing on this one. There's a certain junior high, Madison Junior High, on Ethel and Van Owen. Or close to that anyway. My brother went there. There's an apartment complex on Van Owen and Ethel on the northeast corner. Looks like a square that has an empty square inside of it. But it's just below Madison Junior High. And close to Coldwater. Second level I was there. I'm switching on the 3D map. I can look at the photographs of it, or I can actually see the building itself. God, it's been too damn long. I used to live here. This used to be home. This used to be home. It wasn't gated. A lot of it changed throughout the decades. I'm in an apartment across the ways. I used to live in this place. This was home. This was home. Second level, there was an apartment on the northeast corner. It was the top level. Ma was working with her sweetheart cop at the time. And we had a flat. Two bunk beds and a bedroom. And in that area, we would have the bedroom just window facing the corridors leading up to the apartment door. There was a ladder. There was stairs we had to climb on that one. In the middle of the place, if you happen to look at a Google Maps of that apartment, you'll see there's an oval that's been there for decades. But at the time, it had a swimming pool. Dave and I were sleeping in our beds during that time when it hit. What time was it when it hit? God. Oh, God. This one scared the hell out of me. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun had already come out during that time. It wasn't dark. There was still light coming through. And it hit suddenly. Dave was in one bed, I was in the other bed, and then everything else went hell in a handbasket. Boom, 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 boom. What the hell was going on? Dave, Johnny, you alright? Mama, what's happening? It's alright, babies. Come on. Climb over the beds. Mama, I'm scared. Come on, John. You can do it. Come on, I got you. All right, Dave. Come on. Right over. That's good. Jump over the other bed. Good. Hold on. Okay, now get ready to jump. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha, little bro. Come on, into the hallway. Let's just take cover here, okay? You're safe. It's all right. It's all right, John. It's all right. I'm crying my eyeballs out. I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm scared shitless. It lasted, I think, an eternity, but for 12 seconds, it was an eternity. Well, it was the hardest thing we felt. And then after the aftershocks were hitting us, I mean, the main shock lasted about 12 seconds, but the aftershocks felt like it was lasting longer than that. Just stay here. Just stay here. We're all right. We're all right. Windows were in shit. They're rattling like crazy. The dishes were coming off out of the cabinets at this point. We're hearing people screaming and yelling their heads off. There was an apartment down below us that got flooded out by the water. It was a manager's office. Cyan Ruby Cloud's office, I think, in their home. They were wonderful landlords to know, I'll tell you, back then. God rest them, God bless them. May the Great Spirit take care of them. They had to get that place repaired. But for a short time, that swimming pool was a place to swim and have fun. And Dave would do cannonballs into the water. He was digged out with Ma. I was learning how to swim with my floaters on my hands and feet. Just in the shallow end, just trying to keep going here. I think I was stupid enough to take the things off, and I slid down, and Dave had to dive in it deep to get me and pull me out. I had to wear the floaters until I was ready to stabilize myself. Well after my heart surgery. and our surgery in 1970. But that quake. It was well after the quake that they still had to. They filled up the swimming pool. They didn't see any cracks in it, thank God. But later on, yeah, on years, they decided to drain it, turn it into a park. They had barbecues on the west side of the apartment complex, lower level. Grills, barbecue grills, for community to cook out. Neighbors got to know each other. We had to survive on that one. School survived. Coldwater Elementary. Not that much damage, but there was some damage in certain areas that they had to repair. Took them about a semester or less, but they managed to get them going. And every once in a while there was an aftershock after that. Scared the crap out of me. That died down afterwards. I didn't watch the news or read the papers at the time. It was well over my head. I wasn't comprehending the English that bad. I mean, not the papers anyway. My mother would read the papers. I had to read the notes decades later about what happened during those days and the pictures about what happened to Olive View Medical Center and the freeways that we actually had in the 5 and the 14 freeway interchange. I thought 94 was bad. When the 71 hit, they were not even equipped for that one. By the time they actually had the 5 and 14 freeways and every other freeway, well, partially retrofitted anyway, 94 kicked its ass. And then, God, what a nightmare. I was so damn afraid of earthquakes, I didn't know how to freaking react to the damn thing. I thought going to college during those days when I was a teenager, still living in the San Fernando Valley in a different location altogether, that I would understand the mechanism of it so it wouldn't help me be afraid. Wrong. Show you something, guys. I'm going to do a PDF right now. Give me a second here. I need to. I'm scared. I'm the little kid right now, scared. Because I'm looking at an apartment that I used to live in. And I saw that. I saw that. It would scare the crap out of me on that one. It did. A great deal. I'm still processing the emotions on this one. I'm sorry. But it made me afraid. But I'm going to show you what happened in 94, though. In different areas I used to be in. I was trying to show and explain something to my favorite pastor about what I used to go through. I'm sorry I switched over to earthquake because I was talking about medical insurance and everything else, and we didn't get any aftershocks right now, but it was just an emotional aftershock. So you forgive me if I happen to go on a rough tangent on this one, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, because to me this was very important that I talk about this. It may not be some people, but for me it is. So back in 1994, I was living in the town of Reseda in the San Fernando Valley. Let me, one more.